Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Otaku Oasis podcast. My name is Matthew, and we're here with.
Joshua, and we are back covering One Piece. This episode ah, will coincide with the release of One Piece Film Red here in the States.
Oh wait, we're recording this that
Um,
early.
yes, we
I was
are.
gonna try and get. If we don't record another episode of One Piece, this one will be coinciding with One Piece Film Red.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I mean, we'll try for another, but we'll see. This may
It's
come out early or not.
yeah.
If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Where's One Piece Film Red coming out again?
It is November 4th.
Oh, yeah. We need to have another couple of videos in between then, though.
Oh, yeah, no, there will be probably one or two more videos before then.
All
But
right.
Um, yeah, anyways, getting back into it, we are returning to our coverage of the East Blue Saga. We are covering the Baratier arc this time, covering chapters 42 to 68 and episodes 19 to 30. So, getting into it. His overall thoughts?
I liked it. I feel like. See, the issue is I have not been watching this in one chunk. So like, what is his name? The villain of the arc.
Don Krieg?
Yeah, Krieg. It's like I feel like the name Krieg was slightly familiar, but like, had we heard the name before?
No.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Krieg is only first brought up in this arc.
Which I really feel like is a poor call on them because like Krieg's supposed to be king of the East Blue. Like I really feel like they should have at least mentioned his name in passing.
It's more of just like a title that they gave him. It's not
Yeah.
like he actually is.
Well, yeah, but like I don't know, because like it sounds like yeah, I guess I don't know if he's known enough that like some of the people already knew him. I feel like he would have been mentioned. I don't know. I just feel like for eh, that's fair. One thing I do find it weird about this arc is there's a lot of times we see characters use what should be powers but aren't because like they don't have the devil fruit in them.
Is this in more of reference to Pearl?
Well, Pearl and Don Krieg's ridiculous strength, and
The ridiculous strength is just a feat that people
yeah.
can have. I mean, you've seen Zoro and Mihawk in this
I was
one.
also gonna bring up Mihawk. Mihawk really, I think that would have made. And then you have Redfoot, and I guess Sanji to a lesser extent.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I mean, humans can be pretty strong in the One Piece world without power, like
All
without
right,
devil fruit powers. So,
all right. Yeah, that makes sense.
um, but actually, speaking of it, before we like dive into it chronologically, what are your thoughts on Sanji?
I like Sanji. Um, yeah, I don't have issue with him.
Okay, because let's just say Sanji can be a pretty divisive character at times.
Is it
So
because he's the Mineta of this universe?
he does play into like here's how I'll
I
put
kind of saw it
Sanji.
already, but for Sanji right now is tame,
It
and I like it. It's funny, but I can see
it
it becoming out of hand.
there I will say Sanji has some really high highs,
And
but
some
he also
really
has a
low lows.
few really low lows that can kind of destroy him as a character in some people's eyes, and
Yeah,
which I can't exactly blame him for when we get to them. But
that is fair. Is that a train?
no, I don't know what it is about the person who lives above me, but they love rolling around something above me.
Oh, I was like, I'm just like, I didn't realize you lived that close to the tracks.
No, no, the person, I don't know what it is. I figure it must be a suitcase of sorts. Um, yeah, sorry about it.
No,
It
it's okay.
gets, as I will state numerous times, my walls are practically paper mache.
That is fair and sucks really bad.
Yeah. Um, anyways, getting into chronologically, at least with the anime, it
Oh,
starts with
wait,
Zoro's flashback.
I was gonna continue talking about Sanji for a second.
Oh, no, no, you're good. You can go ahead then.
It's like
Sorry.
I know he doesn't have the best backstory, which is kind of hinted to already. But
Yeah. I mean, even now, like just based off the backstories we've seen,
he's got to be that.
how
He's
would
got
you?
to be on that boat for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, also just how would you rate the backstories that we've seen so far?
Sanji. Oh, damn. I would say Usopp's the least because I don't really remember it. I think they're all
It's
good. I want to say they're all good. Like I vaguely remember Usopp's, but I feel like we didn't really learn that much about him.
Yeah, I will say Usopp's is probably like the shortest one out of the bunch. Well, I say that, but Zoro's actually in the manga is literally only like 1 page.
Oh, so the anime actually did Zoro some justice because I really like Zoro's backstory.
They actually just like added like they added some more scenes in between to kind of give a bit more of like a build up between his relationship with him and Kuina, which I actually think works out really well.
Yeah, I
The uh the only thing I'd say that just is and it's just like one small idea that's brought up towards the beginning that should not be considered canon is that Zoro has gone around challenging multiple dojos. That is the only
I
thing.
figured that was a lie. I just assumed that was a lie.
Yeah, because in the manga he's just part of that dojo.
Yeah, I figured that was a lie he told to get them to fight him.
Yeah, because that part's just not in the manga, period. But
Yeah.
I do think it does like serve a good introduction to Quina and like whatnot.
Oh,
It's
does
just that
Quina become
the
important
reason
later?
behind it. No, no, she's just very important to Zoro's backstory,
Yes.
like and his drive.
Yeah. All right. I think Zoro's. I would say I want to put Luffy's at the top because Shanks is awesome, but I would have to give it to either Zoro or Sanji. I don't. I really like both of them. I don't know which one's better in my eyes.
Yeah, I'd say out of the ones we've seen right now, how I'd rank it probably be Zoro, then Shushu the dog from Orange Town, then Luffy, then Zoro, and then Usopp.
The dog. What was? The dog's backstory was sad. That's right. It was sad. I don't remember much about it, but I remember it being sad.
It's the dog who was waiting at his store because but his
Yeah,
master died and was waiting for him to come back and
I
thus was
remember.
defending this shop
I
as his
remember that
treasure.
now. That was sad. Yeah. I like Sanji's. I really like the relationship with Sanji and Zeph.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's definitely something I'll definitely be digging a bit more into as we get into it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And then Luffy's, I mean, it's got Shanks, so it's automatically good.
well, and I mean Shanks like is like each character has an influence to them. You know, Shanks with Luffy, Kuino, and Zoro's master in Zoro's, and then Zeph with Sanji. Then Usopp technically it's like his mother
I have
kind
a
of
mother and
and all.
dad, I guess.
Like it's his mother who gives him like the whole caring side and like the like wanting to meet his father and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like it's hard to say his father is exactly his role model and he's kind of out of the picture.
Yeah, he's part of Shanks' crew, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what little I've heard, they're actually both pretty present in the movie. So,
I would hope Shanks is a part of One Piece film, right? Because like he's the whole advertising force of it.
but you don't know. But I mean, by Yasov actually gets some screen time as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, cool. Yes. All right, let's get
All
into
right,
the
are
plot
we
now.
good?
Yeah.
Yeah, which with the anime starts with Zoro's flashback, and I think we kind of got
No.
like some base
Oh,
thoughts,
yeah,
but
it
like,
does. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. It does.
what were your thoughts on Zoro's flashback as a whole?
I liked it. I really liked his relationship with Kuina. I think they set that up well, and I think I don't want to be, part of the. I don't want. I was like, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it really feels like they, have you heard the term fridging before?
um, I think so. That's like where you just kind of cut a character short.
You kill a character to help develop another one. It was
Yeah,
popularized by one of the Green Lantern comics, where Green Lantern's villain killed his girlfriend and then cut her up and stuffed her in his fridge. Yeah, that's where
Did
the
that
term
actually
fridging come.
happen?
That is an actual thing from the comics. Yeah, that's where the term fridging came from.
Hmm. I, I will say it's not like entirely wrong when it comes to like at least like this flashback, but it's like also the second flashback we kind of see in the series, and it's only
Yeah.
like a page,
No, it's
so
fair.
I'm
I
like
just
it's very like beginning Oda and whatnot.
yeah.
So like I do think like he gets a bit better with how like the deaths are put into place
It
in
was just so
like
out
backstories
of nowhere.
moving
It's like
forward, but
she fell down some stairs. Like what? Come on.
yeah, there's yeah, no, a lot of people feel that way about like Kuina's death like that, which has led to a lot of people speculating that instead of like there's no proof of this, but there are people who like think that because people have always associated it with this idea that she sudoku'd herself
Oh,
instead due
that is
to
not where I
her
thought that was going.
expectations
That is not where I
due
thought
to the
that was going. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief.
yeah due to the expectations and her gender
I
and
can see
whatnot.
that. I thought you were gonna say, "Oh yeah, it's a fan theory that she actually didn't die; that she just ran away, and they didn't want to admit that."
Well, I mean, that was a fan theory, but that fan theory's been pretty dead in the water for years now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, there was a funeral. Like I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, that, like, I do like the idea,
I can see
like,
it,
of it, just because it would make sense in line with stuff instead of it
but it
just being,
really
like,
wouldn't. It
fell
goes against
downstairs.
her character entirely.
No, no, I know. Like, like, in some ways it makes sense, but in most ways it just doesn't.
Yeah, like
Like, I get it, it gives a better reason, but
I would
it
have
doesn't necessarily
understood it
correlate.
more if there hadn't been the scene where they both agreed to be number one. Like one of them had to be number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, what did you think of like all of Kuina's speech that she says to Zoro before like Zoro says that they'll fight to become number one
I liked
together?
it. It makes sense. I I think it's a good speech, and I think I don't know. I get Zoro was kind of supposed to come off like a whiny brat, but yeah, I think yeah, he is just. How old is Zoro in that flashback?
In that flashback, I think he's supposed to be around like 7 or 8.
Yeah, that makes sense why he reacted that way.
Yeah, he's meant to be pretty young at the time.
Yeah. It makes sense. Um,
But also you understand why one of his blades is different from the other
I
two.
get it now, and I also like how that's the only one to survive.
Mihawk's attack, yeah.
Yes. So we did hear Mihawk's name before, right?
It is actually only first mentioned in this arc, but he
Really?
is a very important character.
I could have sworn that name was also familiar to me.
I mean, he is a pretty popular character if you couldn't tell.
I thought it had. I thought uh, Zoro would have mentioned him when we first met him.
I think he brings up there is like someone he wants to be, but we never get like the official name.
Oh, you know what? I think you might have told
Hawkeye
it to me. I
Mihawk.
think you might have told it to me when I asked.
Yeah,
That would make
Hawkeye
sense.
Dracula Mihawk.
Yeah, that makes sense. He does. He was giving off major vampire vibes.
Yeah, his epithet though, Hawkeye is pretty cool.
I do like it.
Um, yeah. So, any other thoughts on Zoro's backstory?
Um, I like it. I don't. Yeah, it's like I think it was a good backstory, and I like that they actually went more into it, like with how you're describing.
mhm.
I
Yeah,
wish
no.
Kuina's death was different, but not
Yeah,
really much that can happen about that.
yeah, no. It was definitely one of those things. I think even Oda said he would have probably done a little bit different. It's just that sometimes you need to kind of get a bit moving when you're starting a series, and thus Zoro's flashback was condensed to 1 page.
I think. I mean, I think what they could have done to really drive home would be that Kuina died fighting Mihawk, and that's another reason why he wants to go after Mihawk. Not only is Mihawk the best swordsman in the world, there's also a personal tie to it now.
I guess, but I don't know. I feel like it just wouldn't
At least have
like.
Kawina go out dying, like go out like die fighting, because that
Yeah, no,
makes
no.
more
Like
sense.
I do think that would make more sense. I just don't think against Mihawk it would make sense because, like, from what we see later of him in this arc of how he feels towards Zoro and whatnot,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's fair.
because he respects those with drive.
Yeah, but he still kills him.
Uh, no, he didn't kill Zoro.
That's true. He didn't, and he made sure not to kill him. That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
He did have intent at the beginning, but that's before he realized.
I also do think Zoro is a special case.
Um, I mean, I'd say probably yes, but honestly, we haven't seen enough of Mihawk to say one way or the other. Even now.
Mihawk gives me Major Volkner from the Sinnoh region vibes.
You know, you're not wrong in that assessment,
Thank you.
honestly.
Yeah. Um. So how did he destroy the ships? Was it just like he cut so fast it created an air vortex or something?
Um, there will definitely be a better explanation later, but for now, it's just that he's really strong.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, so getting into it,
All right. So we leave the
so
flashback, and now we get.
so basically the arc starts off with like this little thing just messing around with the Mary and whatnot, because like, gotta introduce the new ship.
And yeah, they're testing out the cannons.
Yeah, because the cannon blows a rock, and then they face like the Lieutenant Full Body, like with try and face him with the cannons, but like it doesn't work, and then
Actually,
they
meet Zoro's groupies, brothers. What is that?
no, 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 his like the bounty hunters he worked aside comes after Lieutenant Full Body.
Not in the anime. They come before, and
Or actually, no, no, you're right. You're right. It is. I always, they happen so close to each other. I
yeah,
mix them
no,
up, boys.
that's fair.
Yeah, no. We meet Yosaku and Johnny. And it's actually like the reason that we get a cook in this arc is because I forget which one it is. It's one of the two, but they have scurvy basically.
Yes.
And it's to portray the idea. It's pretty dangerous on the sea if you don't have some kind of essential like things in cooking.
Yes.
Um, which I do like that like Oda like incorporates some of these like actual like things that you
Oh
would
yeah.
occur if you were out on sea.
Yeah, I love it
Um,
when shows do actual research and then put informative stuff in there.
yeah, I mean, we'll get to it a bit later, but even in like the question corner, he has like a lot of historical references as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they meet them, they help him with scurvy, and that's kind of the idea to go to the Baratier in order to get like not only go to food, but also because they're kind of like ruffians who run the restaurant. Um,
Oh, is that why they went? I thought they just kind of happened to stumble across the Baratie when they were running from Admiral Fullbody.
at least in the manga, it stated, yeah, let's like because John Yosaku and Johnny know the Baratier and how like their cooks are pretty fearsome there,
I'm gonna be
and
honest,
thus
I
it's
was
like
not really paying attention at the start of the arc.
to be fair, it's pretty like set up just to get to the
I
Baratier.
was just kind of like, all right, let's get through this. Let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah, I think most of the fighting in this arc I think is actually pretty good, other than the Pearl fight.
Even then, the Pearl fight's not bad. It's just you can tell even now we're reaching dangerous levels of repeating the same shot over and over again.
What do you mean by that?
There's a lot of shots in this fight where they will just keep cutting to the same reaction over and over again.
Oh, that might be an anime thing.
Oh, it's starting already.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it is, but I think Baratier might be the worst offender, at least in that Pearl fight,
Oh, thank
and
God.
that's
No, I didn't. He wasn't even in the pro fight. I was not really paying attention in the pro fight, but like the when he was shooting the gas attack, I swear it took him like
oh
2 minutes to fire it. and
Yeah, the
and then another
MH5.
2 minutes to actually connect because they kept
Yeah, the
jumping
MH.
back and forth.
Yeah, the MH5 poison attack is pretty instant in the manga, so it was definitely an anime
Yeah,
padding
I was
moment.
like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Sometimes like even in early episodes, the padding can sometimes be pretty bad, but in most cases, I mean, at least compared to later, it's not as bad.
Oh yeah, at least we're still not doing five pages for a whole 20-minute episode.
Yeah,
Is that actually real?
yeah, yeah. They've done that before.
No, stop it, stop it. This is why you don't do yearly anime.
Yeah, sadly, it's just from the bygone era of where that existed. So,
Yeah.
um, regardless, so we get that, and then we get the Lieutenant Full Body stuff, which leads to the cannon being hurled into the Baratier,
So
which
did they just shoot a cannonball at him, or I also was distracted when that happened?
so basically, Luffy and Usopp tried to shoot a cannonball at Lieutenant Full Body, but it misses. And then Lieutenant Full Body fires back, and Luffy reflects it off into the
Oh,
Baratier
why did they shoot first?
because they're Marines.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, and they're pirates.
Yeah, but way to draw attention to yourself.
I mean, what is Luffy if not an attention grabber in
That
a way?
is fair. Cannot argue
I'm
with that
like,
one.
I'm like, it's not out of character for both Luffy and Usopp.
Yeah.
We're both the same age as
I
well, actually.
I think you know what I think is it is just a little silly that Usopp missed.
Yeah, I forget what it was, like the reason, but I think it's because Luffy was trying
I
to
was say I'm
like
thinking
mess with it.
Luffy. I think Luffy was in charge of that one because Usopp.
Yeah,
The first time
Usopp
Usopp
did.
shot a cannon, he absolutely destroyed his target first try without.
Yeah, because he is the sniper
He
after all.
is the sniper.
Um, yeah. So then we get to the Baratier, which we get the introduction to Sanji in a scene where he kicks down Full Body for trying to put a flea in his soup. That flea has a name, by the way.
What is the flea's name?
Rest in peace to our homie Bachi.
Put F's in the chat for Bachi.
Yeah, no, he's the first canonical One Piece character to die in the present storyline.
Drop an F in our comments for our homeboy Bachi.
Yeah.
Where did we get the name for it?
It's from the question corner. One of the questions was like, what was the name of the fly that got killed due to like Iron Full Body putting it in his soup? And I was like, oh, that was Bachi the fly. He used to live a happy life.
Oh, poor Bachi.
I just love that he comes up with like stuff like that on the fly as well. But yeah. So we get our introduction to Sanji from that, and also like his interaction with like the main crew when they're ordering their meal, which we get to see a bit of his chivalry like attitude towards women.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
At what point do we cut to Luffy and Chef Zeph?
it's like in between like what I just said. I was
Yeah.
just going through over like Sanji's introduction part right here.
Yes.
So basically, we like in between that, Luffy is talking with Zeph. Red Leg Zeph, Red Foot Zeph, depends on like how you, because it is called like I believe it's like Akashi in like Japanese, which can mean like red foot or red leg. Um, most people go with red leg just because it'll end up mirroring something with Sanji a bit later.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
The anime goes Redfoot.
yeah, no, it's like understandable. It's before because Sanji's epithet will become Black Leg basically.
So he's not a killer.
Well, it's just also like because he wears like his suit pants and whatnot.
Yeah, but the reason Redfoot Zeph was called Redfoot Zeph was because the blood
Oh well, yeah,
of the people he killed stained his boots red.
I know. It's just also like that like between the two of them, you know?
Yes, I know. I do like it. And I really think that is kind of cute.
Yeah.
Do we see Zeph
Yeah,
again
sorry.
after this?
Um, kind of.
Oh well, I'll take it. A kind of is a win. That's a win. A win is a win.
Um, there is like at least a little portion in one of the future arcs that he will appear back up, at least in the main series. But there's another thing that we'll get around to a bit later called cover stories, and that's where him and a
Oh
lot of
yeah, you were
like,
telling me about that last time. It's
yeah,
where we meet the kid, whose name I don't remember.
kid.
It was the kid from the the Zoro arc.
Oh no, Kuina is from his like actual
No,
flashback.
no, 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 not no. When we met Zoro.
Oh, the kid that helped him like when he was tied up and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah. But like, yeah, a lot of those minor characters will actually appear again in like cover stories and whatnot.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah. Zeph happens to be one of those characters.
I like it. I like seeing Zeph again. Kobe, that was his
Yeah.
name.
Oh, Kobe. You're talking about him. Yeah. No, he's both central to the story and also his own cover story. So yeah.
Nice.
Um. Yeah. So basically, Luffy's basically forced by Zeph to work for 1 year as a chore boy due to the damages he caused to the restaurant. Um.
Yes. I love their
That's
whole
only
argument. You work me for a year. No can do. How about a week? Not gonna happen.
yeah, no, I like Luffy just tries to bargain it down, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, he tried.
He's like, I want to go on an adventure. I don't want to be a chore boy. I'm not gonna be king of the chores.
Why didn't he just admit? Why didn't he just try and say, "Oh yeah, it was the Marines that shot you"? Because that's
Because
technically
Luffy will
accurate. The
admit.
Marines did shoot it.
Yeah, but I don't think Luffy is one to run away from his actions per se.
It's. I guess you could argue, but you could still argue it's not Luffy's fault that the Marines. I guess no, it is entirely his fault the Marines shot him.
well, and it's also his fault for deflecting it at the Baratier.
Yeah, but from what I remember, he just kind of stood there and let the cannonball sink into him.
yeah, though it's shown that he can't. He does have a bit of choice in how to deflect things through that.
That's fair. Yeah, what was he
Because he,
thinking when he got sent flying off the ship? He knows he can't swim, right?
uh, you're really rating Luffy's IQ pretty high up there, aren't you?
I forgot Luffy's a moron.
Oda will say it himself a lot of times. Luffy is an idiot.
Yeah, that's fair.
um, I mean, at least intelligently, he is an idiot.
Yeah, that's fair. He's pretty smart when
But
it comes to battle, though.
and he's also pretty. He can be pretty like. He can be pretty smart emotionally as well.
Yeah.
We'll actually
Actually, no,
get
he is
into that,
pretty intelligent emotionally.
especially with a scene with Sanji that he has a bit later in
And
this arc.
I would say also a scene with Zoro in this arc.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, that too. Yeah.
Luffy just
Um.
knows what most people need at like all times.
Well, I think it. I mean, he especially knows his crew pretty well, just because,
Yeah.
I mean, there is crew. But him being able to notice that off of Sanji in that short amount of time is pretty impressive
Wait,
as well.
what was the thing that he noticed?
It's basically Sanji basically saying that he'll die to protect the Baratier, but Luffy says dying isn't what Zeph wishes for you,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, no, he is pretty intelligent. He can read. He's pretty good at reading a room.
hmm Most times. There's sometimes where
Yeah, that's
the
fair.
other people just barge into stuff, but
That
usually it's
is
with good reason.
entirely fair.
Um, yeah. So that kind of just goes on for a little while, and then we get introduced to basically the beginning of our main conflict of this arc, where Gin starved and near death, comes stumbling into the restaurant,
Wasn't he
asking for
on
food.
full body ship?
No, Gin wasn't on full body ship. He came on his own from a small ship on his
No,
own.
he got. I could have sworn he was kidnapped or he had been captured by the Marines.
That was maybe something the anime did, but
Oh,
it's definitely implied that he came here on his own from a dinghy because he takes the dinghy back to Krieg and that informs him.
right. Huh. That makes sense because like then why would the Marines just leave him?
Hmm.
I don't know. For some reason, thought he had been captured. Maybe
I
full
haven't.
body told them to capture him.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. Full body plays a very minor role in this
Yeah, he
arc,
does.
so pretty much it's just that scene with Sanji and then he's gone because
Yeah.
he's disgraced in front of his girlfriend pretty heavily.
Yeah.
um, yeah, and so basically the restaurant doesn't want to serve him because the Kree pirates are brought up to be a very notorious gang of pirates. Um, but Sanji feeds him, and this will play into something we'll get into a bit more later. But he's like he can't stand to not have someone eat when they're hungry.
Yeah. If someone's hungry, they're a customer, even if they can't pay.
Hmm.
Which I like that. I think that's fair.
Yeah, especially after what we learned from his backstory, it's very well fitting.
Yes. How long until we learn his younger backstory?
Uh, not not till much later. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to say.
that's fair. Yeah, I saw a clip of it online somewhere. I don't even remember much about it other than his family not very good from what I think.
Yeah, it's I can tell you the chapter range it's around.
Sure, that's fine.
It's just like I think it's like around like late 700s, early 800s. Yeah, it's only
Okay.
just a it's only just quite a ways away.
How and what chapters are we up to in the anime right now?
We just got through chapter 68.
I mean, wait, what?
This arc covers through chapter 68.
And then no, I was just no. You said no. I meant like up where the anime is currently.
But where the anime is currently, they're adapting content up. It's beyond chapter 1000 currently.
Ah, okay.
Don't worry, you don't need to be in a rush to finish it unless you want to be.
Well, it's just realizing that we'll be here for a while.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have a show that's been on nonstop since the 80s.
I mean, to be fair, some arcs like do get to the point where like they're covering like about 100 chapters on their own, so those will
Yeah, but those are
obviously be broken down. But
yeah, that's fair.
um, yeah, even just like some of the bigger arcs tend to be at least like most people tend to cut it down just because there's a lot to cover.
Sorry about that, audio listeners. They definitely just heard static because my mic got unplugged.
Oh shoot,
What were you saying?
that's not good. Oh, I was just saying that there are like there are some big arcs even like going like into the pretty near future that'll be split up, kind of just because there's a lot to cover in them.
Fair enough. I mean, will there be any
um,
split ups before the end of East Blue?
I mean, it depends on you, but the next arc, preferably, I'd like to cover all in one.
How
But
many episodes is it?
it's episodes 31 through 44.
It's not that bad. How long was this one? 19 to 30?
Yeah,
That's
it's
about.
only like a little bit longer.
I don't care.
Okay. Um, it's only once we get to a few of the later arcs.
Wait, so and
Probably.
there's three more arcs in East Blue, right?
Yes, there is two more arcs in East Blue.
Wait, two? I thought there.
No, there are only two.
Oh, so
Yeah.
okay. So I'm guessing that
Yeah,
one
we
of them
only
has two villains then,
no, no. Well,
because I know
there
there's three more villains left in the theme song.
uh, we I guess technically there is kind of two of those villains pop up in the last arc.
Oh, so there's one of them not really concluded by the end of East Blue.
Technically, let's put it this way: there are three of them that are pretty important to the plot moving forward.
Hmm. And those are the three blacked out ones we haven't seen yet.
Uh, Technically, it's really just a styling in the opening.
Well,
You
yeah, I get
can't
it.
decipher
Yeah,
who
that's
they
kind
are.
of how I was able to figure it out. I was like, oh yeah, that's Buggy, and that's Clawhador, and that's uh, I'm gonna
If
keep
I'm
forgetting his name.
remembering,
Who's the? It's
Krieg,
Krieg. Thank you.
or
Yeah, Krieg.
let me just see if I can.
I
So
still
I for,
do not like the fact that there's not an English. There's not the official English version of the theme song. Isn't on Apple Music. Like, I wonder why that is. Did I mute the headset again? Hello.
no, you're good. I was just checking something.
Ah,
Um, yeah, okay, because there are technically seven flashes. Yeah, three of them.
wait, there are seven. I thought
Three,
there was only six.
there is one like there. The last one is like very quick on
Ah,
purpose. Um, as he is very minor in this one, but he's not really a villain either. He's just a very mysterious character that you'll meet later.
mm,
Um, but he also plays importance later.
fair enough.
And then there are three others that are pretty important.
Fair enough.
Um, but yeah, so basically after that, Gin goes back and gets Krieg. And from there, basically, once Krieg comes back and orders, like says that he's gonna take the Baratier and orders to get food to heal up him and his crew, he basically declares war on them because he's gonna take the ship by force if they aren't gonna give it to him.
Krieg is not very intelligent.
Well, I mean, it is kind of his point that I'll get to a bit later of like because there is a thing that Zeph talks about the difference between Luffy and Krieg. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, so before we can get into that, I guess I should mention that it is mentioned that Krieg mentions that they all came back from the Grand Line after only like a few weeks of being there.
It's 1 week.
Was it 1 week?
I
It might
think.
have been
I
one
believe it
week.
was 1 week.
Yeah. I was like, it was like either 1 week or 1 month. It was like one of the two. I couldn't.
My
I was
money
thinking
says
1 month for
1 week.
some reason, but it might have been just 1 week. Regardless,
Yeah,
basically they came back after that, and they were a crew of 5,000 and pretty notorious, which just goes to show how scary the Grand Line is, which has been
yes.
mentioned before. But this arc, I think, is like the first time we get to kind of see
The
what
danger
we
of.
are in store for in the Grand
How
Line
long until we get to the Grand Line?
at the end of the saga.
Oh. Oh, do we spend the rest of it on the Grand Line?
Mhm.
I figured we were gonna go East Blue, North Blue, South Blue, and West Blue. Oh wait,
No,
isn't there like the huge rocks that divide?
I mean, if you pull up the picture I sent you before all the question things, you can see how the world is set
Oh, you
up.
sent me that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's like the rock that blocks it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is, which you can see on the map thing is called the red line. It goes around the Earth and basically divides the four blues.
And is there one that goes horizontal?
That would be the Grand Line.
Uh,
And it isn't gone into a little bit later. By a little bit, I mean by it's like kind of end of this saga, beginning of next saga. But around the Grand Line, there are two strips of water called the Calm Belt, which are completely still waters that you cannot gain any sort of like winds from. So,
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. So, is the red line the only like continent in this world?
yeah, I'd say it's like the only continent-like structure in this world. Yeah,
All right.
I mean there are like numerous islands that are
Oh
big
yeah,
enough to be continents on their own, technically,
that just
but
don't that they don't just don't show in this map.
I mean, also, it's just like the red line is the only thing that's noticeable enough from
Yeah.
like if you were to look at it from like space or something.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah. But basically, it's also mentioned throughout this time. It's like, yeah, it was only one swordsman that took down our entire fleet, and guess who decides to show up?
Yeah.
That one swordsman,
Hawkeye
the greatest
Mihawk.
swordsman in the world, Hawkeye Dracula Mihawk.
Yes.
So, getting into the fight of Mihawk versus Zoro, what did you think of it?
I liked it. Let me let me find a picture of Mihawk real quick. Mihawk One Piece, and then quickly just look at the images. Yeah, I can see why he's a fan favorite.
Yeah, but no, I like that. He start like he not only just shows up, but cuts the galleon of that Krieg had left in half with only one sword swing. He's able to use his giant blade to deflect bullets off of it.
That was pretty cool.
Um, not to mention, it's just giant cross-like sword.
Yeah, it's completely unnecessary, but it is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's also got a black blade.
Yeah, is there something special about the Black Blade thing?
Um, it'll be explained much later, but yes.
Uh, Fair.
Um, but also, if you want to know, Mihawk's sword is called Yoru.
Oh, nice.
A lot of people have created like replicas of it, and man, they are pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want interesting swords in One Piece, there are a lot of them.
Good to know. Good to know.
Figure you might have a bit of an interest in that.
I am currently scrolling through the. I typed in Mihawk One Piece, and I'm searching through the shopping part.
I see. Um, yeah, but also just so what did you think of like Mihawk's fight narratively, like what it did for Zoro?
I liked it. Um, I wish we kind of got some setup for the characters. Like, I wish we would have got a name drop of Mihawk, or at least name drop Krieg, because like it sounds like Krieg's kind of an important figure in the East Blue.
I can agree with Krieg, but I do think the sudden appearance of Mihawk actually makes his impact all the greater.
It does.
And
No,
he
it
is,
really does. Like, don't get me wrong. The fact that you got Mihawk coming in out of nowhere and then completely wrecking Zoro was cool. I liked that. I just, if Zoro was so obsessed with him, you think he would have mentioned him.
I mean, he did kind of mention him. He just didn't mention him by name, which I think is more just the thing of that Oda didn't have his name in mind at the moment.
That is fair.
um, I wouldn't be surprised if there's probably a scene in the live action that probably adds a scene like that potentially. but
Mm.
but yeah, yeah, I just also like that Mihawk is very much the showcase of what awaits on the Grand Line,
Yes, and I did like that. It was really good.
and very much it shows the ceiling pretty early as well.
Yeah.
Like this is Mihawk is probably one of the most powerful characters in the One Piece universe,
Really?
and it shows.
Really? Wow.
I mean, you don't get the title "World's Greatest Swordsman" for no reason.
No kidding.
I mean, you saw how easily he handled Zoro with only a toy dagger.
Yeah, that was kind of uncalled for.
Well, it's like he says, I'm not the one to to use like to use like a blade when I'm only hunting like rabbits or it's
Yeah,
some line like that.
something to that effect. Yeah. No, I get it, but
Yeah.
yeah, Mihawk is kind of scary.
Oh yeah. No, it's definitely like meant to show like how scary of a character, like how scary the like Grand Line should be.
Hmm.
Ah, there it is. Okay, I found the quote. I'm no beast that goes all out when hunting a rabbit.
Yeah, that was a pretty powerful line. I got to give it credit.
Yeah, no, I mean it shows that Zoro at this like at that moment of the beginning of the fight wasn't even a blip on Mihawk's radar.
Yeah.
And it's also stated throughout this fight that the East Blue is the weakest of the four blues.
Yeah, which, ouch, rude.
It just also means that our characters have a very uphill battle if they
Yes.
want to get through, if they want to survive the Grand Line.
Yeah, they're gonna have to earn it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we also get I'm gonna just like kind of skip ahead just to keep it like with the Grand Line thing. A little bit from Zeph about the Grand Line and how he traveled there for a year and he wasn't able to find what he was looking for, and like he's like one of the few that came back kind of mostly unscathed.
Yeah.
But he does say it takes a lot. Like it's not common for you to come in and come out of the Grand Line.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that does make sense. And then yeah, that's another reason why he wanted the ship so bad is because he wanted Zeph's journal.
Yeah, Zeph's travel log.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do believe because I believe it's brought up multiple times. Like the Grand Line is called the Pirates' Graveyard, but we really get to feel what it means in this arc.
Oh yeah. No.
But other than that, I I love Zoro's technique that he does at the end against Mihawk, the 3,000 worlds.
Yes. I thought it was something like a tiger or something. Wasn't that one of his
I don't
attack
know,
names?
Tiger Trap came before it.
Uh, yes.
Because he did Onigiri, Tiger Trap, and
Which,
then
yeah, the Onigiri
hit
doing nothing was like, oh boy.
the three sword secret art 3,000 worlds, which is at this moment Zoro's strongest attack, and it still did nothing to Mihawk and all of his blades except for the one his keepsake from Kuina broke.
Yeah. It's like I get why they didn't break the Queen of Blade, but man, that would have been powerful. I would have wanted to see his reaction, how he would have been if it had broken the Queen of Blade.
I like well I do get it. It's the only thing that reminds him of it, and it's also the thing that I think shows his conviction towards
Oh,
becoming the greatest
absolutely.
swordsman. And it's like what Mihawk recognizes throughout the battle. It's when Zoro takes that dagger stab in like the side of his chest, or when he like turns around at the end of the fight and opens his chest, and
Yeah,
like the scars on the back of a swordsman are like a shame to him.
yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the exact line, but that was pretty close.
It's like it's a shame. It's a shame to have scars on the back of a
Yeah, I think it
swordsman.
was like
I think that
scars on the back or a swordsman were shame or something.
yeah. But then we see Zoro get cut down, and like all throughout this, Luffy is like stayed out of it, and like had Johnny and Yosaku out. And this is what you were talking about, like Luffy knowing not to interfere with this fight because of how important it is to Zoro, and not letting anyone else interfere
Yeah.
with it as well.
And didn't Mihawk also commend Luffy on staying out of it?
Yeah, he does at the end. Actually, it's also interesting that at this point, Sanji, and this is like what we see throughout the like, it's like the thing that's meant to change in this arc for Sanji is like, I can't believe that idiot would stay and fight for his dreams like that. If that was me, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
We very much see that he is the one who would do that. It just he needed to not be so lingering on wanting to protect Zeph's like shit like restaurant
Mm-hmm.
because they can defend it on their own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also just like Zoro's speech to Luffy,
Mm-hmm.
um, saying like, "I'll never lose again because you need the world's greatest swordsman." Isn't that right, King of the Pirates?
I also really liked that one.
Yeah, I just Zoro just like crying in the shame of his defeat while holding up that sword with his promise to Luffy just hits me. It's like one of
It.
honestly all the Zoro Mihawk stuff is like what most people define as like a classic One Piece scene.
Yeah. No, that is entirely fair.
It's just all like so well written with the characters and like their motivations and like ugh, I can't praise the scene enough.
No, it is really good and one of my favorites. I really did like this arc. It was really good.
Yeah, no, this is like most people say like next arc is like for sure a check if you can if you think One Piece is for you. But some people also think the Barati is a pretty good showcase of it as well.
Yeah, the Brache. Depending on how the next arc is with padding runtime, I might have to say this arc is better because it has the start of the runtime padding, so you get the feel for are you willing to put up with this?
Yeah, I think just also like most people talk about it from a manga perspective, and from a manga perspective, yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
yeah. I was talking more from an anime perspective.
No, I understand. I mean, I didn't show you like specific scenes on purpose because it's like those are like scenes that at least like not only me but most other people consider to be like really good scenes done in the anime and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really watch. Yeah, I've admitted before that I watch stubbed because I don't have the patience for subbed. Um, I
Yeah, no, like I definitely get it.
So because I don't
It's
watch
also
subbed, I don't really have a basis to base it off of.
yeah. I mean, I say most people just like most people compare like sub versus dub anyways, but even just like speaking from like because I've watched a lot of subbed anime and whatnot, I definitely think like just like the amount of like frustration and that you can hear it in Zoro's voice, but
Oh
also
yeah,
still like determination at the same time in his Japanese performance at least. 'Cause I don't know how the English one is,
I think
so
the
I
English
can't
one was
really
pretty good.
compare. Yeah, like I said, I'm not looking to compare that. I'm like at least just between other subs, like I can tell like what the character is going for, and it's
Yeah.
like it's just oh, it hits me every single time.
No. Yeah.
Also, Sanji's goodbye at the end of this arc.
Yeah. I really did. I don't know if it's because you sent me it from. I'm guessing this was the like the recap version done that we you had me watch when we first started watching the series.
Yeah, it those they're basically reanimated bits that were done in the episode of East Blue.
I do think they really just did not do the goodbye justice because they cut out a lot of it.
They didn't cut out as much as you'd think.
Either
Because
than the dub was I
I
just preferred the dub on that one a lot.
Uh, the only thing they've really cut out of it, there were like technically like a few scenes prior leading up to it, um, that I just kind of had you skip over because that was the timestamp I gave you, and then they cut out the Patty and Carne like coming in and trying to fight Sanji at the
No,
end.
I actually think I'm pretty sure Zeph had some more lines in the original that they cut out.
Um,
I would bet dollars to dimes that they actually cut out some of Zeph's lines because he was a lot shorter.
it might have. It's been a long time since I've seen like the full version, but
Yeah, I really prefer I really prefer the what am I saying? I really prefer the original because you get um you get more of Zeph's and Sanji talking to each other.
Yeah, I do think it's like you get it in the sub version as well, but yeah, it's still like even when I was first watching it, that was like one of those scenes where I'm like, okay, I'm sold on this show.
Yeah, no, I really liked it.
um, yeah, even like in a condensed form, like it's mostly maybe just because I remember like everything that plays out in that scene that like a recap version still does the same thing for me, but
Mm-hmm.
um, regardless, yeah, is there anything else from the Zoro Mihawk fight that I wanted to cover? I think that's about it. Um, so after that, we kind of get into the main fight. I really don't have much to say about Pearl versus Sanji. I is honestly, I think probably one of my. It is probably this my second least favorite fight out of all the East Blue fights.
Really, I didn't think it was that
Yeah,
bad.
it's not bad per se. I find Pearl as a character annoying. And
Really, why?
I don't know, just maybe it's just because in the sub he sounds like a very, very like he sounds like a very kind of dumb like idiot type.
It's not how it came across in the um sub or in the dub. In the dub, it was fine.
Yeah, it's just the voice that they gave him. I think kind of just grated on me, and like it goes on for so long, and I'm just like
Yeah, I don't
his
blame you.
design is also just like I get it, but also why?
Yeah,
And it's like one of those things where I think it's just also because it was early One Piece, or more of like I was early into One Piece, and it was also my second anime, so I wasn't quite used exactly to the wackiness that One Piece can get into. Because
yeah, that's
and I'm all
fair.
for it more nowadays, but just his fire ability felt so cheap to me.
It did seem to come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Um.
It really was. There was no build up for that.
Yeah. And even just rereading it, I'm like, okay, it's a bit better than I remember, again, I was reading the manga this time, so I didn't have to hear his voice, and the fire thing still just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I will definitely say those Zoro versus the Nyanpon siblings or brothers is like probably the worst fight in all of East
that was
Blue.
in. That was back in the first episode, right?
No, that was in Syrup Village last arc.
Oh, oh, not bad.
Well,
I
it's
think.
not bad per se. It's just I think probably like one of the weakest fights that didn't like serve a purpose to the plot other than giving Zoro a fight.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I like like some of the scenes we get out of it, like Nami giving Zoro like getting the swords for Zoro and whatnot. But it's like, is this fight really necessary? Kind of not.
Yeah, that is
It's like
fair.
the pearl stuff of this fight. I don't think gives much. When we get to like Sanji versus Jin, now that one I have a bit more investment in because we've seen Jin from earlier on, and they were kind of friends and whatnot, and it's like it carries through, and that Jin is hesitant to do anything against Sanji.
Every time you say Jen, I keep getting extremely confused because I'm used to Geen.
Yeah, it is supposed to be Gin. I always say Jin for some reason. I
It's
read it
okay.
as Jin, but I know it's Gin.
That's fine. I was
It's a
just
bad
like,
habit that I have.
who are we talking about?
Yeah, no, sorry. It is Gin. The way like always pronounced it back in the day was Jin, and it's a lot how a lot of One Piece YouTubers say it, even though it is Gin,
All right,
and it's just a thing.
that's fine.
um, but yeah, it's also during this time that we get Sanji's flashback, and
Yes.
I like how it starts with like Sanji throwing away leftovers, basically.
Yeah. I mean, they were kind of laying it on pretty thick with.
No, I know, but it's like definitely like it gets like I think it like I know you can say it like depending on the viewer. To me, I feel like it just very much hits home like a lesson that Sanji learned that food is important to have and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like I definitely can agree. Like, it's like, oh, he's shown off throwing away leftovers, but like when he loses that last piece of bread when they're stranded on like that rock, it's very much a contrast scene, I think.
Yeah. No, and that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, but what were your thoughts on Sanji's backstory as a whole?
I liked it. I really like the relationship that Zeph and Sanji have, and that Zeph gave up his whole way of life just to save Sanji.
Hmm. Let me just correct one thing. The anime, due to it being in an early time slot, and it probably not wanting to show what Zeph actually did in the manga, has it so that he cuts off his own leg with an anchor.
Oh, he's
In the
worse.
manga, in the manga, he cuts off his own leg and uses it as sustenance.
You know, I actually thought that's what they were gonna go for because in we see like a couple flashes of his flashback before we go in, and then we see Sanji going after Zev with a knife. So I figured they would have cut it off for food.
Yeah, yeah, no. Zeph in the manga does he uses a rock nearby to cut off his own leg and uses it as sustenance.
That doesn't surprise me,
Yeah,
even in the slightest.
yeah, but I definitely do think it like the anime gives a very much a different like feeling towards Zeph's leg than the manga.
Hmm.
It's just like one of those things that just due to the time slot, it's very much different.
Yeah, that tracks.
Oh gosh, I just realized
Hmm.
total missed opportunity here. I should have put the four kids Sanji with the lollipop on the thumbnail just as a joke.
Which one would that have been on left or right?
It would have been on the left, but I'm it's fine as is. I just it always makes me laugh that four kids because they didn't want to show anything like cigarettes and whatnot. They replaced Sanji's cigarettes all with
Really?
like suckers,
Come
but the
on.
suckers were being held backwards, so it still looks like he's holding a cigarette.
That's that's dumb. Like I get
Yeah,
it, but that's dumb.
yeah, no, that's why four kids stub is pretty notorious.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. And also, Sanji has a very thick New York accent in the Four Kids dub.
No, come on.
Instead of being Trunks.
Wait, is he? Oh my god, he
He's Eric
is.
Vale.
Oh my god, he is. I just realized that. It took me a while.
Which makes it even funnier because the Chris Savick character and the Eric Vale character have very much a rival relationship again.
Yeah, that tracks.
um, but yeah. Any other thoughts on Sanji's flashback or?
Um, I mean, I wonder why he's on the boat in the first place, but I have a feeling we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, that'll be explained later. Um,
I figured.
but yeah, I guess just one more thing that I wanted to mention because I was nearly gonna forget mentioning it, but I like that Zeph Zeph kind of makes like, and this is in relationship to like him using his leg. It's the bag that he has is all just treasure. It's not food. He gave all the food to Sanji.
I did really like that, though I do wonder how he's still alive. And what were they drinking?
Rainwater that fell onto the crevices in the rocks.
Oh, that wasn't. If it was, I don't. I didn't think that was. I don't remember that being stated.
It's not stated because it's done in a montage thing. You see the rain falling, and then
Oh,
you see them afterwards
damn.
going.
Damn. You're learning the fact that I don't. I'm not physically watching it. I'm just listening to it and tuning in when I hear something important happening.
Yeah, no, I figured as much.
Hey, I watch them while I'm at work. I'm busy when I'm not working.
No, I know. I'm just a quick reader that I'm able to read like I've read all the arcs prior in like one night in like an hour.
Fair enough.
But that's just because I'm a quick reader.
Yeah.
um regardless, so basically after like that, we go back to the gym fight, which leads to him like saying that he can't do it, which basically then like Don Krieg is just ready to get rid of all of his subordinates, basically.
Don Krieg
Um,
is a psychopath.
hmm?
I said Don Krieg is a psychopath.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's very much to the point that basically he thinks of raw numbers as power,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very much not the case as we see compared between Luffy and his crew and him, where Luffy's crew is only 5 people filled with conviction, compared to Don Krieg's 5,000 that got all easily cut down in the Grand Line, and he's ready to turn his back on them if they aren't strong enough.
Nice.
That's the thing that Zeph mentions as well. It
Yeah.
was actually the thing that I wanted to bring up. It's mostly like the only thing that I really wanted to bring up out of the Creek fight because I think that's just like it's a showcase of Luffy's character, like that he is willing to do anything even if it means dying for it. And Zeph says that is the scariest pirate to face on the sea.
Yes. Yeah. Luffy does kind of scare me.
But it's like in a good way because like we know like it just means that Luffy will try and continue carrying on no matter what problems he arises and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like he faces and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, so basically after that we get into like the aftermath, which gets into like basically Luffy still trying to recruit Sanji. Um, but it's like it takes some real pushing. It requires like all the staff and Zeph to say, "Yeah, Sanji, your soup is horrible. Why did you make this horrible soup and whatnot?" Even though they know the soup is great, it's just Sanji needs that push because he feels tied down to
Yeah.
wanting to protect Zeph's dream.
That makes sense.
Um, which is the thing that Luffy said. Hey, this is not what Zeph wants for you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's brought up like that. Even like linking back to the flashback, it's like Sanji wants to find the All Blue, same as Zeph, and Zeph like basically passed his dream on to him, being like, "You go out and set sail one day to go find the dream that I could not achieve."
Mm-hmm.
And it's very like neat in a way that both Luffy and Sanji like Luffy in a way has always mirrored his like he mirrors his like early crewmates that we've seen so far. Zoro it's like with his lofty dream, but like his conviction as well.
Yeah.
Usopp, it's his ability to stay true to himself. Sanji, it's like his like not only his like dream, but like the dream that's linked to his mentor as well.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Um, yeah. Otherwise, is there any closing remarks that you want to give on the Baratier arc before we dive into the question corner to cover a few of the interesting questions from there?
I wanted to talk about the Luffy fight a bit.
You can if you want.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be real. I've kind of been spacing for a little bit, so you probably talked about this.
I don't know. I actually mostly skipped over it.
Yeah, I've. All right, so did you talk about that Geen was or that Geen turned on Krieg and Krieg tried killing him?
Yeah, I mentioned that part,
All right,
but I
did you
didn't
mention?
mention everything that
All right,
entailed with
yeah,
the poison gas
yeah.
and
So
protecting
dude
Sanji.
shot the Luffy gas, shot the poison gas. Luffy grabbed two gas masks, threw them to Sanji and Geen, and then couldn't find the third gas mask, so Geen threw his back to Luffy and took the
Hmm.
poison to save those two, which I thought was really sweet and was sad because I was really hoping that Geen would join Luffy's crew.
Yeah, no, Gin, like if he ever shows up again, and like a lot of people really do, and I honestly do as
I would
well.
love to see him again, but I'm pretty sure he's dead.
I mean, it's honestly up in the air, but like if he were to show back up though, I do think it would be pretty nice to have him like come back and be an ally to like the Straw Hats.
Yeah,
But that's just that's just like kind of the hope. 'Cause, 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 'cause,
Yeah, because it did seem pretty damning when he's like, "I want to spend my final minutes on the ocean," or something to that effect.
I feel like that. Mm, yeah, that might have been like kind of a dub over exaggeration, because
And Funimation tends to do that a lot.
yeah, no, because like the sub I think just mentions like, yeah, I still gotta follow him in case he's my captain, but if I do ever see you guys again, we'll probably be enemies again.
Oh yeah, no,
He says,
he in
but
the dub it is heavily implied that he will be dying in like 30 minutes.
yeah, no, in the sub and in the manga, it's a bit more hopeful on his
Oh
outlook.
yeah, no, they're basically like, yeah, I'm dead. I'm gonna die in like in a couple hours. So peace. Tell Luffy I said I'll see him on the Grand Line, and then he just bounces.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that. Um, oh, you know what we never mentioned? Nami ditched them and stole the boat.
Oh yeah, yeah, that
That's kind of a big thing for the next arc.
yeah, no, that is definitely the linker into the next one. I
Aren't
forgot
you
also
glad that
that
I'm not paying attention at all?
I mean, it helps that you remember some things that I forget
Yeah,
to bring up because I'm
yeah,
caught in the moment of things.
yeah.
Because also I forget if it one of Yosaku or Johnny shows back up and basically is like, you guys need to come help us from
Yeah, where
where we are.
is the other? Where are the others? Because like they
They
lost Nami. They only vaguely know where she is, where she's going. They don't know where she is, but they know where she's going.
they
Um,
it's the next arc location, but
yeah. So they're already there.
yeah, they're already there.
All right.
Usopp, Zoro, and one of Johnny or
Yeah,
Yosaku.
it's really funny. It's really nice how the one that came back just happened to have a shark that took him back.
Yeah, I do. People hear a lot of people say it's convenience, and I'm like, yeah, it is.
It's
But I
plot
mean, you
convenience. At
need to
least he's
tell.
not trying to hide the fact that it's plot convenience.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you need to set some sort of urgency though somehow for them to get going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
But otherwise, is there anything else?
We talked about the goodbye, which I really liked. Um,
Yeah, I didn't always. I always like Zeph's line of just don't catch a cold, and then Zeph, or not Zeph, Sanji just breaks down, and like
yeah,
then
he just
they,
starts breaking down, and then he's like, "What an idiot!" and then starts crying himself. Because like, think
yeah.
about it. For the better part of Sanji's life, Zeph's been raising him as not maybe not his son, but as his apprentice, and he's been raising him.
Oh no, no. Zeph is definitely Sanji's surrogate father.
Yeah, I just man,
Honestly, I'd say his actual father, but
I would say I bet from what vague piece of information I have, I kind of wish Zeph was his actual father.
well, I'm pretty sure the Sanji character would agree with you on that.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about the goodbye. We talked about Geen leaving with. I love it. There. How many? Did he still have like 500 people? Because that boat was stacked full of bodies.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually mentioned in one of the questions. Oda brings up Panda Man, and Panda Man is actually one of the ones that you can see in that bundle of the of the bodies packed on the boat. Panda Man, if you don't know, is basically like Oda's little Where's Waldo thing. And that Panda Man is in not every chapter, but he's in a lot of chapters, just hidden somewhere in the background.
All right. Now, question. When you
Mhm.
say chapter, do you mean the individual, like each like chapter, or do you mean the volumes?
In each chapter.
Oh, really? He's been in every episode then?
Not, like I said, not every chapter, but he is in a lot of chapters hidden somewhere in the background. I think the anime may lessen his appearance, but he's definitely there a lot in the
I was going to say,
manga.
you're gonna have to show me some of these because I've never noticed a panda man.
Yeah, I've only like sometimes noticed him, but there are some where like it's a bit more easy to see than
Yeah,
others.
if you could find me some in the anime. Here, let me look it up myself. One Piece anime Panda Man. East Blue. Oh, yep, there he is. I can see him in the pile of bodies.
Yep.
Huh. Nice.
Yeah, no, Panda Man is definitely a it's a running gag that Oda has throughout the series.
Yes.
It's actually pretty funny because One Piece actually had a Where's Waldo collab like in the recent years, and it was pretty funny.
Nice.
Because I'm like, Panda Man was basically Oda's own Where's Waldo, and I think it was mentioned like by Oda when that collab happened that he's like, yeah, I actually was a pretty big fan of those books as well.
Nice.
Um, yeah. Otherwise, is that about it for
I
Baratier?
believe that is.
Okay, so now to dive into the question corner answers and whatnot. So any like specific ones that you want to bring up first, and then I'll bring up mine.
I love all of the jokes of people. I love all the people. Every time that someone asks Oda to give an exact like metric to something, he always just gives up whatever fake metric he wants to come up with. It's like,
Yeah,
how
like
quickly can Kuro run? Well, to tell you the truth, it's hard to measure his speed. 4 point something. Wow, that's a world record. Or the like the gummy gummy or the fan the I can't. Where is one? The like the funky
yeah,
gomu gomus.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm like, I very much like it because it's like Oda's like, okay, I'm not gonna give you a specific answer because my like I'm not keeping it consistent really.
Yeah.
So here's a fun made up metric that could mean anything.
Yeah. Let's just let's. Why don't you go first, and then if I have anything, I can bring it up.
Let's see. Um, okay, so just like one of the like the first questions that I just like being brought like it is like mentioned briefly in like both the anime and the manga of like Shanks's crew members that we see that are prominent, like the one who uses a rifle like a bat, and the one who's always eating meat and fires the gun. When Shanks is talking about guns being Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo, but I just like that Oda still gives that clarification even in like this answer and whatnot.
Nice.
The next one, this one's more of a comedic one, but it's just kind of like my favorite one. Like people are, um, one of them was like asking like, why do you always use like the dawn sound effect? Like dawn is like just like kind of a sound effect in manga that's like meant to be like bring this intense like feeling and like they say like I think Babine could work just as well, but Oda's just like no. Dawn scenes give you that feeling of dawn, where a Babine scene gives you a feeling of Babine.
Yeah, that sounds like Oda.
um, and then this one this one's just like more of like just one of the examples of like Oda's like willingness to show like research of like pirates and whatnot, and like other things, because like, and even just like in a further question, he mentions like, because like someone asked like, is Alvida actually based off of like a real like woman pirate whatnot, and like he actually does give like a few examples for that, but it's also like the seagull that we saw on Axiom Morgan's like chin actually is like. And like the Mo like word means like seagull in German, which is like the Marines like main signature thing.
Makes sense.
Also, the funny answer to how does Zoro talk with three swords in his mouth? It's his heart speaking.
It's his heart speaking.
Um, let's see. Do you have anything or?
Um, I liked the one where it was like where they misspelled One Piece because they couldn't figure out what it was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, because the logo O and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one's a pretty good one. I just found my next one. Okay, so I like that. So you remember Django from last arc and how he has like that striped like chin thing?
Wait, Morgan or wait, who are you talking about? Django?
John Django, the hypnotist from last arc.
Yes. Let me pull up Django. Yeah, he has that thing. It's a mushroom. Really?
Yeah, it's a mushroom. I I like that Oda just came up with like this entire story of like, yeah, he never really bathed and whatnot, so like he just had this mushroom growing from him, and he ate the head of it, and that's what gave him his hypnotic powers.
Huh. Fascinating.
Let's see. Um, let's see. Oh, the Zoro haircut one is pretty funny as well.
Yeah. Oh, which one was it?
Man's heart and spirit. I'm sure that would work very well if you were to do that here at a barber in the US, clearly.
Yeah.
Um, and then let's see. I like, and I think we mentioned this last episode as well, but is that the idea of like how Morgan rose to be a captain was linked with Kuro and like his plan to not become a pirate and whatnot,
Yeah.
due to him like faking his death and whatnot.
Yeah. Did we talk about that last time? I forgot about that.
Um, yeah, I think I mentioned it like very briefly.
Yeah, I could see, and the one with Patty Incarnate, I can see kind of how they got to the original, what they thought it was. Uh,
Oh, oh yeah, no. Yeah, I do like that. It's actually just like, Oda was like, no, I just took the patty from patissier, and the carne just means meat in Spanish,
yeah,
which that's what I thought originally for carne as
that's
well.
what I was kind
Um,
of going for, and then Patty, I just also assumed, like a burger patty.
yeah, that's what I thought as well, but patty from patissier also
That
makes
works.
sense. Yeah. Um, Actually, this one's actually kind of important because it actually does kind of come around. The question about so in the manga, there is a slight error in that when the mountain bandits first come in and like are trying to get like alcohol, and that's like when they smash the alcohol on Shanks' head and whatnot, there is an error in between the pages where the doors magically fix themselves when they leave the bar again.
I do remember
Um,
reading that one. Which one is that in? There it is, found it.
it Yeah, volume 7. It's like one of the beginning ones. It's basically Oda's like, oh yeah, that was just Minatomo-san. He just comes around and fixes doors whenever he sees a broken one.
Yeah, I assure you, that wasn't my mistake.
Yeah, no, it's I'm, now obviously that was like clearly Oda is like not perfect and whatnot. Like he's human after all, but I do find it funny that he came up with a reason for like the mistake in the first place.
Yeah. Why are ads making it through my ad blocker?
I couldn't tell you. Also, I forget if
Man, I'm
I've
glad I'm
brought
not
up.
showing my screen because it is a political one and it's talking about a hot button topic.
Mm, um,
Man,
yeah,
I'm
no,
glad they
but
cannot see my screen right now because I don't feel like editing and I'd probably want to blur that one out.
yeah, um, but yeah, if I forget. I don't. Have I told you all the ages of like the main five straw hats we've met so far?
I know Zoro and Sanji are both 19.
Okay, so
Luffy is
both of them
currently 15? 16.
17.
17, damn it. And
And so
Usopp's
is
also,
Usopp.
yeah, I know Usopp and Luffy were the same age. And Nami, I want to guess 18.
Yeah, she is 18. She's like right in between
Yeah.
two age groups.
I figured she'd be right in the middle.
um, Yeah. Otherwise, let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, the Zoro cutting off Luffy's stretched
Oh
arms
yeah,
can
that was
only be used twice move.
yeah. How many times do we see Devil Fruit? Like I know we see a lot of people with Devil Fruit powers, but how many times do we see the fruit themselves?
Um, a lot less than you would think.
Honestly, I would think not very often because it seems kind of like a plot contrivance.
Oh, like the fruit themselves?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
kind of feels like something
yeah,
that they wouldn't want to show a
mostly
lot.
yeah, mostly retroactively we've seen designs for the devil fruits just because Otis like put them at like put designs out for them in like actually in like these question corners or just in like extra material later on. So
Mm-hmm.
like we actually do know what a lot like some more of them look like and whatnot, but the only ones we've seen at least so far canonically, I mean, are actually the only two devil fruits we've seen in the series so far. So
Wait, really? It's just the two at the start of the show?
yeah, we've only seen we've actually seen the gum gum fruit and the chop chop fruit in their physical forms before they're eaten by Luffy and Buggy respectively.
How many do you think are still out there?
Uh, as many as Oda wants to come up with.
You'd think they would be mostly gone by now.
There's definitely a way that they can stay around.
Oh, are they like actually grown from plants?
It's delved into a bit more later.
How later?
I'll tell you a bit more after we finish this.
Fair enough. No
Um,
spoilers for you guys. Only spoiler for me.
Even then, I'm probably gonna try and keep it as vague as possible.
This is fair.
But otherwise, I think that was about it from questions. Oh, I guess there is that one more one. And this is more just because I I like Japanese wordplay. So and it's not the Zeph's braided hair one. That one. That one's good, but like it requires a bit more translation to it. But the Samu Samu no Mi that Oda mentions as like causing bad jokes and whatnot is like actually like a thing that I kind of knew about before I read it. So I'm like, oh, I actually get that because you say Samu like Samui towards like a kind of a bad joke.
Yeah.
I find it funny that like also he's like, oh yeah, these fake fruits you mentioned, yeah, they could probably exist in the One Piece world. They'd suck, but they'd probably exist.
Yeah.
But yeah. Otherwise, I think that about covers it up. Um, any final thoughts before we close this out, or
I do not believe so.
all right? Well, if that's the case, join us back next time, whenever that may be, where we will be covering the Arlong Park arc, and I'll this will be basically we're coming up to the climax of the East Blue Saga. So
Alright. I'm curious to see who the final villain will be because I really think they should have just saved. I forgot it again.
Krieg.
Krieg. It really feels like Krieg should have been the villain, the final villain. Because, like,
Nah.
I get. I was like, I'm sure they'll do something cool, but, like, come on, he's the king of the East Blue. That would have made a kind of a cool, like, end of the East Blue part. It was just taking out the king of it.
Yeah. But
Alright.
um.
Well,
Otherwise, yeah.
with that, that'll do it. Thank you all
Yep.
so much for watching. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back next time. Bye
Bye.
bye.